Good day, guys, and you're welcome to the channel. This is Diana Olatunde from DASTCI. So, yeah, I want to quickly do this quick Bitcoin update video because I know that a lot of people from last week were really expecting to see a continuation of the bullish run. For those that watched my last video, I did mention that it's very likely Bitcoin still drops to a certain level before we see a continuation to the upside. Okay. Now the title of this video is Bitcoin Bear Flash, which signals the fact that we have some bearish momentum in the Bitcoin price action. Okay. Now I want to actually start from this time frame here. For those who watched my last video, you're already conversant with the fact that I have plenty of lines on my screen. Basically, so just get used to it. Okay, now I don't know if you can spot what I'm seeing here, but let me just draw this ASAP. How many of us can see this double top pattern we seem to be forming here? This being the neckline and another top down here. This is a confirmed double top pattern on the daily time frame. Now, a double top pattern is a typical bearish bias, which signals that we are most likely to see a downward trend in price. Now, this double top, actually, most times, we are not supposed to see a close below this neckline if this double top is to be invalidated. However, we can say that we have a clear breakdown below the neckline, which is a whole full day candle close. Now look at this candle very well. Okay, now this candle is actually a shooting star candle. All right, if I'm to take my Fibonacci retracement here and place at the top of this to this aspect right here, you can see that we close this candle below this 38.2 Fibonacci retracement, which shows that this is a perfect example of a shooting star candle, which is also a trend reversal candlestick. Now, this trend reversal candlestick, it is on this trend reversal candlestick, we now even have the close below the neckline of this double top pattern. Now, this pattern is not just forming on the 1 hour time frame and then we just say, okay, it's just a short-term bearish momentum. This is happening on the daily time frame. You can see we are on the daily time frame here. So this is something for you to be fully aware of, guys, and to actually take into consideration moving forward on your trades. Now, another thing for us to take note, if I zoom out of this, you can see this blue line here, right? This particular blue line. Okay, now this is the daily MA, and this daily MA has been a strong support for the Bitcoin price action over a period of time. You can see that when we touched it somewhere around here, we got support and just went upward. In fact, almost at a stretch. Okay, for 3 days in a row, we had an upward movement just because we closed above this daily MA. Now, look at this daily MA, guys. We have a whole day candle close below this MA. And what usually happens when that occurs is that we tend to see more prices towards the downside. And when that happens as well, the daily MA then becomes a form of resistance because it served as support. You can even see it even served as support here because when this candlestick touched it, we saw a move back to the upside. But after that, it was difficult for it to provide support, and now it has flipped into resistance. So there's a tendency that even if this touches this blue line, we're still most likely going to see a rejection. Now, what does this mean? Okay, I did state in the last video that yes, a lot of adoption is coming to Bitcoin. A lot of good news is coming for Bitcoin. This is very true. But I see a lot of technical and a lot of technical analysts out there using a bunch of indicators. Sometimes it's just best to keep things simple for you to know exactly where you're going in the market. Okay. And if you just look at it from a psychological standpoint, there's going to be a huge supply shock when we have institutional bodies coming into the crypto space. There's going to be a huge supply shock. We have trillions of dollars coming into the crypto space. So there's very little. In fact, the overall supply of Bitcoin is not even up to 1 trillion. And we have trillions of dollars. So we're going to be having very limited supply. And these institutional bodies are fully aware of this. And so they don't even want to come in because they know that the supply is low. They don't want to come in at an high price. They definitely would want to come in at a lower price. So you need to factor that these people also know what they're doing. And because it's a new filing, they want to also show their investors that they can make profit. So they would want to get the prices at a lower price, which is one of my reasons. I'm being psychological about that now, which is one of my reasons why I also believe, even before this whole setup came up, that Bitcoin was actually still going to dip in price. Now, in my last video, I showed that on the 1 hour time frame, I did state that we're going to see a more rejection towards the downside in my last video. Now, we were in a consolidation phase. Let me just zoom out a little bit here. We are in the 1 hour time frame. And I did mention in the last video, my last video on Bitcoin, I think this was the line I drew here when I referred to this particular wedge pattern, which seems to be a bearish bias. And I said price was still going to dump, most likely to this aspect. And look at it right here. Price actually dumped even below our target. So for those of you who took this trade, a huge congratulations to you. And like I keep saying, none of the how do I put now? None of the recommendations here is meant to be taken as financial advice. I'm just giving you my own analysis of how I'm viewing the market. Okay. Now, I'm actually about going out. I would have loved to show you this chart on an exchange actually, because right now the Bollinger Bands are actually squeezing on Bitcoin. And so there is going to be likely a lot of volatility. Now, if you look at this trend line coming from the daily time frame, these two trend lines coming from the daily time frame, you can see that we closed above this, which is this trend line on its own is already a bearish indication, because it's an ascending wedge, which is usually a bearish indication. And now we even closed below this trend line here. We closed below it, and now we are not even breaking back into it. We are trading below it. We saw a small retest, even though we've not fully retested it. So Bitcoin might even still go as high as 30,762 before we see another rejection down towards this zone in which we are in here. This place is presently serving as support, as you can see, because this was the area in which we're consolidating. But so far, Bitcoin has not recovered back to the previous highs of its consolidation. We are now consolidating even in a lower frame. Okay, so I wanted to just let you guys be aware that we are presently undergoing we're presently seeing some bearish flashes on the Bitcoin price action. And I'm not saying you should sell your Bitcoin or give up on Bitcoin. No, nothing like that. I'm just telling you to be more cautious while deciding whether you want to take a long trade or whatsoever on Bitcoin right now. Okay, you might want to wait for us to see a breakout on any of these consolidation patterns, either a break above this ascending wedge to show that we're back in the bullish season, or you might want to wait to see a close below this trend line around here, which is the extreme of this support of this consolidation, which is around 29,511. You can wait to see a close below that before now saying, oh, we're most likely to see a more dump towards the downside, or wait to see a close above this upper trend line, which is around 31,772, basically approximately around $32,000 before you then say you want to open a long position on Bitcoin. But either ways, we are presently seeing a lot of bearish signals, and even though the Bitcoin market is quite unpredictable, despite these bearish signals, we might actually just, some good news might just come, because crypto reacts to news a lot. Some good news might just come, and then you just see us pushing up right above all of this, and then we are actually back into continue with the bullish trend. But until then, until we see that breakout, I want to just tell you to be very cautious on the price action of Bitcoin. So that's it from me today on this Bitcoin update. In the meantime, just bear in mind that this is the present Bitcoin price action, and that is it from me today. Have a wonderful day ahead. Bye, guys.